The other cryptos, which are fascinating to me right now, are these. So originally we had the Bitcoin ecosystem and the Ethereum ecosystem, and everything's being built on mostly Ethereum. And all of a sudden, the guy from Binance, CZ, said, I'm going to create my own Ethereum, right? Binance Smart Chain. And a guy from Korea named Do Kwon, I'm going to create the Terra network. And now Sam Bankman-Fried from FTX, I'm creating Solana. And they're building mini Ethereums, competitors, that are not nearly as decentralized as Ethereum, but they're faster. And, you look at the TV, you don't know what's behind the TV, right? Who in the heck cares what's behind the TV, how it works? We just turn it on, we're like, good TV. And so there is a debate, will consumers care how decentralized the blockchains are? Right now, they're just saying, hey, is the consumer interface, is the user experience sexy and good? And so you're seeing these new ecosystems explode north. That's money coming from Bitcoin and Ethereum into the Solana ecosystem, the Sam Bankman-Fried stuff. Terra, I bought this coin Luna 5 months ago at like 27 cents and it's now $18. Yeah, you don't have a lot of those in your life. You kiss your wife and and buy her a dog from Korea, which I actually did. I bought my wife a dog from Korea.
Literally.
Literally. And so, I think, listen, the macro markets have never been more interesting, and crypto is macro on steroids right now. And so it's a fascinating time to be a trader. It's really volatile. And so you can't say, well, it's so volatile, I lost all my money. No, you have to adjust your position sizes. And so if you're used to taking a 10 unit S&P position, which trades at 20 vol, and you're trading Bitcoin at 80 vol, you should take a 2.5 unit Bitcoin position, right? And that it's just the math. You don't have to be a crazy kamikaze in volatility just because you're trading crypto. You just have to adjust your sizes so you preserve your capital. I think Bitcoin is a core part of your portfolio. It's got a purpose. It's going to be around for a long period of time. Every institution I know is buying some. It's basically digital gold. Ethereum is most likely the winner of the decentralized supercomputer that powers all these new businesses, all these new ecosystems. But it might not be the winner, right? I also invested in a thing called Definity, which is going to launch in about a week. They want to be participant in that. Solana, like I talked about, Terra, there's all these other ecosystems like Ethereum trying for the same thing. Then there's DeFi. These DeFi coins trade like equities. In some ways, they have a dividend. You can think of it like a dividend. The more use they get, the more business money they're gonna make. The higher the token's gonna go up. And so I look at those three buckets and say, if you're not in that bucket, you're literally like a Ponzi game. And so Litecoin, BSV, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, whatever that the other Bitcoin.
Right, there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch.
XRP. Those are all baloney coins, and doesn't mean you can't make money in them, because every once in a while the market gets hot and people are like, oh, that hasn't moved yet, let me buy it, and you pull your friends in. It's a little bit like that GameStop. They're meme coins, and you can get your head ripped off being short. And so I would not advocate for the non-professionals to be short. And if you're short things, you want to short them after they've taken out everyone else. Right.
Mike, can I ask you about, because you said those are BS coins, but what about like a stable coin, almost like a tether? And I'm thinking in the sense of, if we see Bitcoin go from 64 to 58, is it a wise move to say, all right, I'll take some of my investment, put it in tether because it's stable, and then reinvest when I feel like the trend is going back up? Is that a strategy that can be used?
No, so listen, I think Tether or USDC, Circle stable coin, any of the stable coins are fine places to park. They're basically it's the same as putting it back in dollars, but you're not having to take it out of the crypto ecosystem.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think it's a perfectly good idea when you want to take chips off the table to leave them in the crypto ecosystem. So you don't have to go through your bank and put them back in. And so we trade a lot of USDC. We trade some Tether. You know, there used to be a concern about is Tether real or not. It's stood the test of time. Enough people believe it's back 1-to-1 that it's going to hold 1-to-1. I wouldn't, if I had to leave money for a long period of time, I'd rather leave it in USDC than Tether, even though it's the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. But pretty much that's just $1. And I tell you what's going to happen next year, in the year after, there are going to be more and more of these stable coins. Matter of fact, we're going to be buying pizzas with stable coins. Mark my word, Facebook's new project, it's called Diem, like Carpe Diem or Per Diem, D-I-E-M. They used to call it Libra. All it is a $1 stablecoin. And you're going to get a Novo wallet. So everyone's going to have their own Facebook on Messenger. And you want me to send you money, instead of going to the bank, I'm just going to, like Venmo, but it's instead of Venmo controlling it, this is going to leave my wallet and go to your wallet. And it could go overseas, and it could be $10,000, not $1,500. It could be $100,000. And so the world is going to move on to wallets, not bank accounts. I'm long Facebook stock. One of my favorite trades this year is I sold a shackload of call options on GameStop because the vol was so stupid. And I bought Facebook stock and Facebook calls. And I bought it because I know sometime in this next half year, they're going to come out with this crypto wallet called Novo. Unfortunately, not named after me, but the Novo wallet. And they're going to have, and all of a sudden, you're going to have 2.5 billion people with access to crypto on their wallet. And Facebook all of a sudden is going to get a little bit of a crypto. You know, you're going to put them in your crypto basket. And so Facebook's going from 300 to 400. I hope.
Quick question for you. Speaking of conspiracies, what do you think of Peter Thiel's comments about Bitcoin being equivalent to like financial terrorism because it may be backed by China? And then what do you think of Bitcoin?
I know Peter well. Okay. I first met him back when we both had big hedge funds in 2006. I partnered with him on a lot of things. He likes to be provocative. Mm-hmm. That's his brand. He likes to say shit that everyone says, what? He's very smart. He owns a lot of Bitcoin. He owns positions in companies that you know participate in the ecosystem, and so he's a bull in the space. The stablecoin war will be a war. It's not going to be a Bitcoin war. It's a war between China's stablecoin, the U.S. stablecoin. Europe's going to have one. I was on with the central bank governor of Brazil. They're going to have one. Every one of these countries is going to have stablecoin. It really only matters U.S. China, right? We're the reserve currency of the world right now. In order to be the reserve currency of the world, traditionally you had to have the strongest navy, right? The Brits had, you know, the pound used to be the reserve currency, and all of a sudden the dollar became. Most countries only keep the reserve currency status for about 100 years, or about the end of our life in that zone. And so, but why is it important? Well, we have these gigantic deficits. So we want everyone to buy dollars, right? How are we going to fund these huge deficits? We fund them by people overseas buying the dollar, buying our bonds. And so if China becomes the reserve currency, if people start saying, hey, what's a gallon of oil? What's a barrel of oil? It's in renminbi, not in dollars. Like right now, anywhere you go in the world, you ask a guy how much he's worth. He says, well, I'm worth $1 billion. I'm worth 400 million. I'm worth 10 million. They never tell you I'm worth 50 real or 1.5 million euros, or right? Everyone thinks of the base currency in dollars. That's because we're the reserve currency. That's a huge advantage for the United States of America. And so for us to lose that in a war with China, who's way ahead in this stablecoin, would be a tragedy. And the government now knows that. And so I think you're going to see an acceleration. Bitcoin is kind of a fly in that whole, in that room of negotiation. Because what Bitcoin is telling governments is, dude, you guys are doing such a shitty job with your budget deficits. You are printing money. My mother used to say money doesn't grow on trees. Right now, money's growing on trees. Let's make college free, right? I think they probably should make college free. Let's pay off your student debt. We'll pay it off. Let's just keep pumping in more and more money. Let's go to war again. Like the amount of money our government's spending, we don't have that. And so Bitcoin is like a report card on how the government's doing. Bitcoin's going up because people say, shit, there's a chance. It's not the predominant probability, but there's a possibility that is growing that, we shit the bed, that the US yield curve and dollar looks like what happened in Germany at the beginning of the century, or what's happened in Venezuela, and we're like, that could never happen here. And most likely it will never happen here. But man, the chance is higher today than it's ever been in my life.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think it's a 40% chance, but as it goes from a 0% chance to a 5% chance to a 10% chance, people want insurance.